Yo, what's up, USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man and homie, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, your host with the most, misunderstood, lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, and of course, unstoppable independent podcaster, and of course, Queens, New York native, who's also a New York Mets fan from the neck of the woods of Laurelton, Queens, New York. And yes, you are now rocking with me by listening, streaming, and watching the 140th episode of the entertainment review show, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast. And thank you for being patient with me while I was on my hiatus, while picking topics for upcoming episodes and stuff. That's basically what I had to do. I had to take some time off to take care of myself mentally, despite the um rough job hunt of being laid off for the past 9 months and stuff. So there you have it. So yeah, we're live and direct from StreamYard alongside with YouTube. And in case you miss any episodes whatsoever, please feel free to grab the subscribe button for me. Leave a like and a comment on the review topics that's being discussed in each episode. And speaking of StreamYard, I want to actually tell y'all something before I even start this episode right here. Um if you are an upcoming content creator, YouTuber, podcaster who is a host of a show, like myself, I want to put y'all on to something. All right. Um, and of course, this involves StreamYard. Now, if you are new to streaming or looking to level up, you can check out StreamYard and get a $10 discount. All you have to do is this. To get in on the action on StreamYard and live streams and stuff like that, all you need to do is go to www.streamyard.com. You can set up an account. You could use your email. You can use your username, all that great stuff right there. So you don't have to worry about losing a password. All right. So that's www.streamyard.com. That way you can actually get started on your podcast live stream journey. All right. You don't want to miss out on the $10 discount. I have the link in the description of the in the episode description on the YouTube channel page of Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, episode 140. I will add that to upcoming episodes so I don't forget to um, mention that to you folks at home. All right. So there you go. www.streamyard.com. All right. I hope y'all had a nice weekend, a nice Cinco de Mayo. I know y'all are probably under a lot of pressure into trying to figure out how to get um a, a present for your mothers out there for Mother's Day, which is coming up this weekend. Um, but you know what though? But you know what though? Instead of going the extra mile, how about try to keep things simple? You get what I'm saying? Keeping things simple instead of going for the expensive stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the material stuff. It's all about the thought that counts. Keep that in mind, folks. All right, what do you say we get started with a little thing that I like to call music Kool-Aid. This is where I get into the nitty gritty of what's going on behind the scenes as far as like who's coming out with an album and all that other stuff. Um, so there you go, right there. Um, yeah, music Kool-Aid. Let's get into it right here, right now. Hang on 1 second. And yes, I am returning to the other podcast shows as well. So, in case you're wondering, I am going to be returning not only this week, but next week as well. So, don't worry, I got y'all. Um, so there you have it. Yes. So, all right. Give me 1 second here. Um, okay, one moment. Okay, let's get started with the weekend, shall we? So, I haven't talked about the weekend in a while, actually. Um, Previous time I did that was the fact that he has a movie coming out. I talked about it on my other podcast, um, so there you go. Okay, all right. According to Hip Hop Vibe, The Weeknd and Doechii are uniting for what's shaping up to be one of 2025's most anticipated collaborations, the official remix of Timeless, originally released in fall 2024. The song featured Playboy Cardi and peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. Now, with Doechii's voice joining the mix, the track is getting new life and energy at the perfect time. For fans of genre blending, emotional storytelling, and bold sonic experimentation, this remix is more than just another drop. It's a landmark. The Weeknd still evolving after a decade of hits, with over 10 years of commercial and critical success. The Weeknd, aka Abel Tesfaye, is a proven innovator in modern music. Known for his haunting vocals, cinematic production, and dark pop aesthetics, he's constantly shifting what pop and R&B sound like. In January 2025, he released Hurry Up Tomorrow, an album that expanded on themes of futurism, heartbreak, and time. Timeless, one of the standout tracks, offered a surreal yet sharp exploration of fame and emotional disconnection, hallmarks of the Weeknd's work since House of Balloons. That track's version with Playboy Cardi leaned into a moody trap R&B hybrid that fans immediately gravitated toward. One moment. But the upcoming remix promises something new, lyrical firepower, and introspection from one of rap's most exciting new voices. Okay, so Doechii, rap's breakout star of 2024, Doechii, who's who rose to prominence with her 2024 mixtape Alligator Bites Never Heal, is now a Grammy winner and a household name. That mixtape, both a raw confession and a high concept sonic experiment, earned her Best Rap Album at the 2025 Grammy Awards and 3 total nominations, cementing her place as a force in the music industry. Known for her theatrical delivery and excuse me, shape-shifting flow, Doechii is fearless when it comes to genre. She blends rap, R&B, soul, pop, and punk with ease. Her lyrics often focus on identity, trauma, empowerment, and reinvention, themes that pair surprisingly well with The Weeknd's world-weary emotional tone. Wow. Adding Doechii to Timeless not only widens the track's emotional range, but also aligns with a growing trend in pop and hip hop, women rappers delivering the most exciting, relevant bars in the business. Currently, Doechii's Anxiety single is also dominating as it stands at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. Yeah, you know what? I actually heard that song. I heard that song multiple times on Power 105.1, and I believe, I think, I believe a rapper came up with. I forget the guy's name. I believe he had a. He also has the song Anxiety as well, but I forget the guy's name. Anyway, that shit is fire though, man. Um, oh man. Last week, the Top Dog Entertainment artist and Tampa native was also featured on West Side Gun's Egypt remix. The sound of Timeless then and now. The original Timeless had a futuristic, slightly eerie feel, driven by a distorted synth loop and sparse drums. It was designed for late night headphone listening. Cardi's feature added chaotic, high pitched energy, while the weekend's verses floated with detached, um, m- detached melancholy. The remix with Doechii introduces balance and heat. Doechii is expected to bring narrative density and lyrical tension, infusing the song with urgency. While her final verse is still under wraps, fans are speculating based on clues dropped in her recent interviews. Her remix verse may tackle her rise in the industry, the politics of fame, and the emotional cost of ambition, aligning with the song's themes of timelessness, and existential drift. The remix is also expected to undergo production tweaks, perhaps a punchier beat or instrumental layering to match Doechii's explosive cadence. Why this collaboration matters now, you ask. The music industry is undergoing a transformation. Genre is more fluid than ever. Hip hop and R&B artists are exploring emotional vulnerability as a strength, and collaborations across seemingly different worlds are thriving. This timeless remix hits right at the intersection. The weekend has historically collaborated with artists who reflect parts of his musical psyche. Think Lana Del Rey, Future, Rosalia, Doechii represents something different. She's new generation bold. Yeah. Yep. New generation bold. I can agree with that. Lyrically, confrontational, a disruptor, and that gives this remix edge and freshness. Also, noting the time the remix drops just months after Dochi's Grammy win and a few into Hurry Up Tomorrow's album cycle. Both artists are riding major momentum. Fan reactions and viral anticipation. Social media lit up. Social media lit up the moment the weekend announced Dochi's feature on X, formerly Twitter. Fans quickly dubbed the pairing genre bending excellence. Clips from the original song have resurged on TikTok as fans speculate on how Dochi's verse might sound. Music critics are also weighing in. Early reviewers predict the remix could outperform the original, not just in streams, but in cultural impact. With Dolce's Gen Z audience and the weekend's established fan base, the track is positioned to cross demographics and platforms. Even music marketing experts are noting how intentional this collaboration seems. It doesn't feel like a gimmick, it feels like a strategic bridge between artistry and reach. Yeah, yeah, we do need more of that creativity when it comes to music artists. Um, yeah, that part I can agree with. Um, the bigger picture, women in rap are dominating. Dochi's rise is part of a broader movement in music where women, especially black women in rap and R&B, are at the forefront of both innovation and influence. From Ice Spice and Megan Thee Stallion to Rico Nasty and Little Sims, female rappers are leading the charge in shifting cultural conversations through music. The weekend collaborating with Doechii is not just a feature, it's an endorsement of this shift. It's recognition that the sharpest perspectives today often come from artists who were once seen as underdogs. Collaboration that elevates. White remixes come and go. The truly memorable ones change how we hear a song. Think of Beyonce on Megan Thee Stallion's Savage or Nicki Minaj's verse on Monster. These moments elevate both artists involved and sometimes even rewrite their legacy. The timeless remix has that potential. It's a moment of mutual amplification where Doechii gets access to the weekend's global platform, and the weekend gains creative fire from a lyricist at her peak. Okay, when and where to listen, you ask. The Timeless remix is set to drop this week across Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon Music, and YouTube. A visualizer is also rumored, possibly spotlighting an animated or conceptual aesthetic from the weekend's Hurry Up Tomorrow universe. Early pre-saves links are already live on fan sites and artist pages. Based on past release strategies, expect a Thursday night drop at midnight Eastern. Don't miss this moment. This remix isn't just hold on. This remix isn't just hype. It's two artists, one at the top of his career, one on the steep climb, using their voices to reframe what timeless music sounds like in 2025. Whether you are a longtime fan of The Weeknd or just discovering Doechii, this track is essential listening. It's a musical time capsule, a reminder that some songs really are timeless, especially when they evolve. Yeah, so it's coming out tomorrow, May 9th, which is Friday. So Don't forget to check out the remix to The Weekend featuring Dolce, Timeless. All right. All right. Now we are gonna go into the movie territory right here. And yes, today's episode is titled Go on a Chewmute with Some Sausages and Other Foods, which is dedicated to the Garfield movies, Sausage Party, Food Fight, you just name it, man. We're going over it today. All right. We're gonna go over it today in another section, in another selection of the next segment that we're about to go into is the Chillax Man Cave Popcorn Lounge. This is a segment where I go over the movies and what's coming out and all that great stuff. So here it is. All right. All right. Listen. Whoever made this beat is a genius. And I'm actually inspired by it though. Speaking of inspiration, man, we gotta talk about the previous Garfield movie that came out. Now, when I saw the trailer, I did not know it was going to be a fucking hybrid movie. Now, for those of you who may not know, the previous Garfield movie, um, Garfield the movie, which is a 2004 American comedy film based on Jim Davis comic strip Garfield, directed by Peter Hewitt and written by Joel Cohen Alec um, and Alec Sokolow. It was produced and distributed by 20th Century Fox with the co-production of Davis Entertainment Company and stars Breckenmeyer as John Arbuckle, Jennifer Love Hewitt as Dr. Liz Wilson, and features Bill Murray as the voice of Garfield, who was created with computer-generated imagery. That's what they mean by hybrid. Okay, got it. And the budget for the film was $50 million. And yeah, the budget for the movie was like $50 million. So Garfield the movie was released in the United States on June 11th, 2004. Despite receiving negative reviews from critics, the film was a commercial success, grossing $208.1 million worldwide on a $50 million production budget. And of course, um a sequel to a sequel, Garfield: A Tale of Two Kitties, was released in 2006. Wow. 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 I did not know that. I did not know that. That's interesting. That's interesting. I think I'll take a look at that next. So, yeah. Hold on a second. I forgot to do this. Yeah. All right, so let's see. So how did it do in the box office? That's a good question. Now, um, if I could find, yes. Yeah, so let's go to the reception right here. On its opening weekend, the film debuted on 3,094 theaters and earned $21.7 million. The film grossed $75.3 million in the United States and Canada and $132.7 million from international markets, accumulating $208 million worldwide. Critical response on review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, 14% of 135 critics reviews are positive, with an average rating of 3.52 out of 10. The site's critical consensus reads, in quote, when the novelty of the CGI Garfield wears off, what's left is a simplistic kid, simplistic kiddie movie. Yeah. On Metacritic, the film has a score of 27 out of 100 based on 31 critics, indicating generally unfavorable reviews. Wow. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of B plus on an A plus to F scale. Roger Ebert rated it 3 out of 4 stars, saying the film was charming. Joe Layden of Variety wrote, only very small children still easily impressed by interaction of human actors and CGI quadrupeds will be amused by Garfield. You think? Oh shit, that's messed up. Oh man. Um A.L. Scott of the New York Times wrote, in quote, that Garfield speaks in the supercilious, world weary drawl of Bill Murray is some small consolation as far of as are a few of animal tricks. Oh wow. Wow. Yeah, let's take a look at okay, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at the next one. I forgot that this had a sequel. Um, all right, so Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties is a 2006 adventure comedy film directed by Tim Hill and written by Joel Cohen and Alec Sokolow. It is the sequel to Garfield the movie and stars Breckenmeyer, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Bill Murray reprising their respective roles as John Arbuckle, Dr. Liz Wilson, and the voice of Garfield. New cast members include Billy Connolly, Ian Abercrombie, and not to be mistaken for the store folks. Oh shit. Oh man. Roger Reese, Lucy Davis, and Oliver Mearhead in live action roles, and Tim Curry, Bob Hoskins, Reese Ifans, Vinnie Jones, Joe Pasquale, Richard E. Grant, and Jane Leaves as the voices of the film's new animal characters. In the film, Garfield, Odie, Liz, and John travel to the United Kingdom, where Prince, another cat that looks exactly like Garfield, is ruling over a castle after the death of his owner. His reign is soon jeopardized by an evil aristocrat who bottle the castle into condominiums, destroy the estate, and get rid of Prince. The story is loosely inspired by Mark Twain's novel The Prince and the Piper. While its title is a parody of Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. Yeah. Okay. And of course, obviously, Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties was released by 20th Century Fox in the United States on June 16th, 2006, and the United Kingdom on July 21st. The film received generally negative reviews from critics and also failed to achieve the commercial success of its predecessor, earning $143.3 million against a $60 million budget, but was still a box office success. A tie-in video game was developed by the Game Factory. Ooh. And let's go to the all right, so Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties grossed $28.4 million in North America and $113.3 million in other countries for a worldwide total of $141.7 million. The film opened to number 7 in its first weekend, grossing $7.3 million, according to 20th Century Fox. This wait, the studio was aware that the film would not make as much as the first and only made it based on the worldwide success of the first film. All right, critical response on Rotten Tomatoes. The film has a rating of 12% from 78 surveyed critics with an average rating of 3.5 out of 10. The site's critical consensus reads, in quote, strictly for very little kids. A Tale of Two Kitties features skilled voice actors, but a plot that holds little interest. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 37 out of 10, excuse me, 37 out of 100 based on reviews from 20 critics, indicating generally unfavorable reviews. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of B plus on an A plus to F scale, the same grade earned by its predecessor. Joe Layden of Variety gave the film a positive review, saying, "Good kitty, superior in every way to its underwhelming predecessor, Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties, is a genuinely clever kid pick that should delight moppets, please parents, and maybe tickle a few tweens." Um, Janice Page of the Boston Globe gave the film 1.5 stars out of 4, saying, in quote, "You'll only be attracted to Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties, if you are very young. You are very easily entertained, or you just can't get enough of Jim Davis's lasagna scarfing cartoon." Shit. Roger Ebert gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, saying, in quote, "Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties is actually funnier and more charming than the first film." Elizabeth Weitzman of New York Daily News gave the film 1.5 stars out of 4, saying, Connolly, bless him, um, throws himself heartily into the tack of acting opposite a computer generated cat, given to bad puns and flatulence. Everyone else, however, looks mortified, and can you blame them? Peter Hartlaub of the San Francisco Chronicle gave the film 1 out of 4 stars, saying, "The best thing that can be said about Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties, is that the movie isn't quite as bad as its name." Nathan Rabin of the AV Club gave the film a C, saying, in quote, "Two Kitties marks a considerable improvement over its predecessor. It's faster paced, and the filmmakers wisely shift the focus away from bland owner Breckenmeyer and onto a a menagerie of chattering animals. After a dreadful first entry, Two Kitties elevates the Garfield series almost to the level of mediocrity. Claudia Puig of USA Today gave the film 1.5 stars out of 4, saying it comes off like a cough ball, a, a wan rehash with too many elements of the hard swallowed 2004 original. Damn. Damn. Are you kidding me? Damn. Damn. You can't be serious. I swear, this is why a lot of people don't really agree with critics these days. They all shit on somebody's movie, but don't really understand the process behind making a movie. You know what I mean? Accolades: the film was nominated for 2 Golden Raspberry Awards in 2006, one in the category Worst Prequel or Sequel, and one in the category Worst Excuse for Family Entertainment, but lost to Basic Instinct 2 and RV, respectively. Damn. Wow. And now we are going to go to the Garfield movie that came out last year. All right. So, the Garfield movie is a 2024 animated comedy film based on the comic strip Garfield created by Jim Davis, a co-production between the United States and United Kingdom and Hong Kong. The film was directed by Mark Dindo from a screenplay by Paul A. Kaplan, Mark Torgrove, and David Reynolds. It serves as the sixth Garfield film adaptation, the third theatrically released one, and is the first since Garfield's Pet Force. Um, I'm not even gonna have time to go over that one right there. 2009, yeah, it came out in 2009. Chris Pratt stars as the voice of the titular character alongside the voices of Samuel Jackson, Hannah Whiting, Hannah Whitingham, Vig Rames, Nicholas Holt, Cicely Strong, Harvey Gillen, Brett Goldstein, Bowen Yang, and Snoop Dogg. In the film, Garfield is reunited with his long lost father, a street cat named Vic, before being forced into joining him on a high stakes adventure. Damn. Oh shit. That's crazy. All right. So this time this time it's distributed by a different company, Sony Pictures Releasing, and not the other one. Um yeah, so all right, so let's see. Development on the Garfield movie started at Alcon Entertainment in May 2016. Dindo was announced as the film's director in November 2018, and pre-production began the following month. By 2021, Sony Pictures had already purchased the film rights for global distribution, and Pratt was cast as Garfield, with the rest of the cast joining the following year. The film was animated by DNEG, and while John Debney, a frequent collaborator of Dindo, composed the score. Um, Hold on. The Garfield movie was released by Sony Pictures, releasing internationally on May 1st, 2024. Um, in the United States, the premiered at the Grumman's Chinese Theater in Los Angeles on May 19th and was released on May 24th. The film received negative reviews from critics who criticized its unfaithfulness to the source material, although the animation and voice acting received praise. Nevertheless, it was a commercial success, grossing $257.2 million worldwide against a $60 million budget. Yeah. Yeah. The film wasn't the film was nominated at the 2024 Kids Choice Award for favorite animated movie, but lost to another Columbia Pictures animated film, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Oh wow. Now, I'm not gonna go over the voice cast of the characters and stuff, man. Y'all could look at it for yourselves. Um, I don't want to appear to do any spoilers, so I'm not gonna do that. All right, let's go to the reception. The box office, the Garfield movie grossed $91.9 million in the United States and Canada and $142.7 million in other territories for a worldwide total of $234.7 million. In the United States and Canada, the Garfield movie was released alongside Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, and Sight, and was projected to gross around $30 million from 4,000 theaters in its 4-day opening weekend. The film made $8.4 million on its first day, including $1.9 million from Thursday night previews. It went on to debut at $24.8 million and a total of $31.1 million over the 4 days, finishing second behind Furiosa. In its second weekend, the film dropped 42% to $14 million, finishing in first. The film opened in 18 countries on May 3rd and grossed $22 million in its first weekend. Its largest markets were Mexico, $8.8 million, Spain, $3.2 million, Brazil, $2.2 million, Italy, $1.6 million, and Peru, $1.3 million. Critical response. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 37% of 136 critics reviews are positive, with an average rating of 4.8 out of 10. The website's consensus reads, in quote, the Garfield movie rolls along at a zany enough clip to be diverting for kids, but this animated adventure doesn't much resemble Jim Davis' iconically grumpy created, iconically grumpy creation. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 31 out of 100 based on 29 critics, indicating generally unfavorable reviews. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of B plus on an A plus to F scale. The same as the live action films, while those polled by Post Track gave it an overall positive score of 73%. In a negative review, Frank Scheck of The Hollywood Reporter criticized the film's unfaithfulness to the comic, writing, as anyone familiar with cartoonist Jim Davis's iconic feline character knows, Garfield doesn't like to move around very much. He likes to eat, particularly pepperoni pizza and lasagna, and he likes to lie around and make sarcastic comments, In other words, he's not a cat of action, and yet for some reason the creators of the new animated film revolving around him think that what the audience really wants is to watch Garfield engage in Mission Impossible style stunt laden violent mayhem, Brandon Yu of the New York Times criticized the quality of the animation, stating the film was visually flat with compositions that seem oddly half-populated and cheap. While a review in The Guardian went as far as to call it a foul feline original tale littered with product placement. A mixed review for The Wrap, however, praised certain aspects of the film mildly and conceded while this new film isn't especially funny, it's still a reasonably enjoyable kids kids flick. It's short on laugh. It's short on laughs, but surprisingly big on tenderness. The film was nominated at the 2024 Kids' Choice Awards for Favorite Animated Movie, but lost to another Columbia Pictures animated film, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Jeez, damn. This is crazy, man. This is very crazy. That's crazy though, man. Let's see. Let's get into Food Fight. Yes. Next animated movie is Food Fight, which is a 2012 American animated adventure comedy film produced by Threshold Entertainment and directed by Lawrence Kasanoff. The film features the voices of Charlie Sheen, who you may know from Two and a Half Men, and the Bookie, Wayne Brady, who you may know from Let's Make a Deal game show, Hilary Duff, Eva Longoria, Larry Miller, and Christopher Lloyd. Food Fight takes place in the Marketropolis supermarket. Oh man, Marketropolis. I swear, man, they come up with something that has to rhyme with Metropolis. Like, come on now, really? Come on now. Oh man. Oh my gosh, man. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Um, let's see. Yeah, Marketropolis supermarket, which after closing time transforms into a city inhabited by Ikes. Personation, no, excuse me, personifications, personic, person, personifications. Oh gosh, man, these big words. Anyway, of well-known food mascots. The story follows a cereal brand mascot, Dex Dog Detective, who, along with his best friend, Daredevil, Daredevil Dan, join forces with their fellow Ikes to fight against the forces of the evil brand X, who threaten to take over the entire supermarket. Oh wow. Wow. And let's see. So let's see. All right, so the budget for the movie is between 45 to 65 million dollars. Damn. And this one right here didn't really do that great. After raising tens of millions of dollars in funding, Food Fight had a troubled and much delayed production. The film was originally scheduled for a Christmas 2003 theatrical release. However, this failed to materialize, and later planned release dates in 2005 and 2007 were also missed. By September 2011, after the producers defaulted on a loan, creditors auctioned off the film's assets and all associated rights to Fireman's Fund Insurance Company. In 2012, the film had a modest release, being direct to video in most territories. Its no, critical reception was overwhelmingly negative, with most criticism directed towards the animation, humor, story, and excessive product placement. It has often been discussed as one of the worst films of all time. Jeez Louise, man. Y'all can't be happy for shit, man. Y'all motherfucking critics can't be happy for shit, man. Damn. I mean, look, I always say some of the majority of the critics are mostly haters, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Anyway, upon the film's initial announcement in 2001, it was denounced for taking product placement to the extreme and doing it in a film targeted at children. Kasanoff responded to the controversy by stating that they were not paid monetarily for the brand inclusion, and therefore the addition of known brands did not constitute product placement. However, the brands were expected to provide $100 million worth of cross promotion. Since its release, Food Fight has been panned by critics and audiences alike and is considered one of the worst films ever made. Mental Floss included it in a list of 10 really bad movies that define bad movies in 2012, and it appeared in lists of the worst movies ever made on Digital Trends in 2017. MSN in 2018, Photogrammas in 2020, and Time Out in 2022. It has also been referred to as one of the worst animated films ever made by IndieWire in 2015, Comic Book Resources in 2021, and twice by Screen Rant in 2017 and 2020. In 2017, Rebecca Hawks of the Daily Telegraph described Food Fight as the worst animated children's film ever made. In 2024, Collider not only named it the worst fantasy movie of the 2010s, but the absolute worst movie of the 21st century without any real competition. A 2012 review by Kate Valentine of Hollywood News called it by far the crappiest piece of crap I have ever had the misfortune to watch. And a 2013 article from the New York Times was similarly scathing, saying the animation appears unfinished and the plot is impenetrable and even offensive. The New that Food Fight has been upon by internet purveyors of bad cinema, describing the film as one of those fall of civilization moments. Nathan Rabin of the AV Club wrote in 2013 that the grotesque ugliness of the animation alone would be a deal breaker, even if the film weren't also glaringly inappropriate in its sexuality, nightmare-inducing in its animation, and filled with Nazi overtones and iconography, even more egregiously unfit for children than the script's wall-to-wall gauntlet of crude double intenders and weird imitations of interspecies sex. Damn. Raven revisited in a 2019 article, unbelievably, surreally, and exquisitely terrible that you want to share it with the rest of the world. I was put on earth to suffer through abominations like Food Fight, so that society as a whole might benefit from my Christ-like sacrifice. Oh, damn. This critic is fucking insane, man, for saying that shit. In 2020, Esquire's Nicholson wrote that the film was the room rendered in horribly sharp polygons and that it was easily the most horrifically ugly, confusing, and unsettling animated film ever made. In 2024, a documentary covering details in the production with interviews and footage of early animation called Rotten Behind the Food Fight was released. All right. Next, we have Sausage Party. The rated R animated movie for the first time is a 2016 adult animated comedy film directed by Conrad Vernon and Greg Tiernan, written by Kyle Hunter, Ariel Schaefer, Seth Rogen, and Evan Goldberg, and based on a story by Rogen, Goldberg, and Jonah Hill. A co-production between Canada and the United States, the film features an ensemble cast consisting of Seth Rogen, Kristen Wiig, Jonah Hill, Bill Hader, Michael Cera, James Franco, who you may know from Pineapple Express, Danny McBride, Craig Robinson, Paul Rudd, David Krumholtz, Edward Norton, and Salma Hayek. The film follows an anthropomorphic sausage who lives in a supermarket and goes on a journey with his friends to escape their fate as groceries eaten by humans. Oh, wow. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. So, let me see. So, oh man, the film's animation was handled by the Vancouver Studios. It is the first computer animated film in both United States and Canada to be rated R by the Motion Picture Association of America. The film's rough cut premiered on March 14th, 2016 at South by Southwest, followed by its general theatrical release in the United States on August 12th, 2016 by Columbia Pictures. The film received generally positive reviews from critics who praised its story and humor. It grossed $141 million against a budget of $19 million, surpassing South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, which came out in 1999, years ago, as the highest grossing R-rated animated film at that time, until it was surpassed by Demon Slayer Mugen Train in 2020. Wow. In 2024, a sequel streaming service, Sausage Party Foodtopia, was released on Amazon Prime Video. I'll get to that next. All right. Oh man. Oh my gosh, man. Okay, so all right, so the voice cast goes like this: Seth Rogen, who plays Frank Frankfurter, a sausage who sets out to discover and expose the truth about the great beyond. Kristen Wiig as Brenda Bunsen, a hot dog bun who is Frank's love interest. Jonah Hill as Carl, a sausage who is friends with Frank and Barry. Bill Hader as Firewater, an old Native American bottle of liquor and the leader of the non-perishables. Jose Tequila. What? Oh man, a Mexican bottle of tequila who works for douche and later gets killed by him after failing to bring Frank and Brenda to him. Oh wow. Michael Cera as Barry, a deformed sausage who is friends with Frank and Carl. James Franco as a drug addict who is the first known human to discover the food's anthropomorphism after injecting himself with bath salts. Oh no. Danny McBride as a jar of honey mustard who is returned to his shelf upon the shopper who purchased him mistaking him for regular mustard and tries to warn Frank and the other products of the reality of the great beyond. I didn't know Craig Robinson was in this movie, and he plays Mr. Grits, an African American box of grits and a member of the non-perishables. He has a grudge against crackers, a pun on the pejorative term. Oh wow. Paul Rudd as Darren, the manager of Shotwell, who is nicknamed the Dark Lord, as he disposes of spilled items. All right. Nick Kroll as douche. Oh shit. A nasty douche and Frank's arch nemesis who seeks revenge on him for accidentally breaking his nozzle and preventing his arrival to the great beyond. David Krumholtz as Kareem Abdul wow. Kareem Abdul Lavish. Oh wow. A Middle Eastern lavish who has an on and off rivalry with Sammy. His name is a play on Kareem Abdul Jabbar. Oh wow. You could have picked a different character's name, man, than being named after a basketball legend. Oh shit. Edward Norton as Sammy Bagel Jr., a neurotic Jewish bagel who has an on and off rivalry with Lavish. His name is a play on Sammy Davis Jr. Oh my gosh! Wow. Oh man. Sama Hayek as Teresa Del Taco. Oh yum. A Mexican lesbian taco who is attracted to Brenda. Wait, wait, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a damn fucking minute. Hold up. Did I just hear this right? Did I just hear this right? A taco as a Mexican lesbian. First of all, wait a minute, when have you heard about a particular food being a lesbian? that's that's a fucking mess right there, man. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh my gosh. That's a wow. This is crazy, man. Oh my gosh. Anyway, Scott Diggs Underwood as Gum, an intelligent but paraplegic wad of chewing gum. He is a parody of Stephen Hawking. Twink, a gay Twinkie who is a member of what? Whoa. Oh my gosh. Oh man, this is too much. This is too much, man. First, the taco is a is a is a is a is a, is a Mexican lesbian. Then you got a snack that is gay. What in the flying fuck are you thinking? Oh shit. Oh boy. Oh yeah, I had to laugh, man. This is the funniest one that I'm going over right now. Oh man. Andy's home as Troy, a sausage who likes to pick on Barry. Oh boy. We have Lauren Miller Rogan as Camille Toe, a shopper who purchases Frank and Brenda's packages. Her name is a pun on camel toe. Oh wow. Oh shit. Oh man. Additional character voices were provided by Alistair Abel, Iris Apatow, Sugarland Beard. Oh man. Ian James Corlett, Michael Dangerfield, Brian and Michael Dobson, Ian Hanlon, um, Key Hendricks, Nicole Oliver, Kelly Sheridan, Jason Simpson, Vincent Tong, Underwood, Sam Vincent, and Harlan Williams, as well as directors Conrad Vernon and Greg Tiernan. Uh, Archival recording of Meatloaf's "I'll Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That" was used for the singing voice of a Meatloaf grocery-based caricature of him. Oh wow. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, I'm not gonna go over I'm not gonna go over all this. Wait, hold on. Yeah, on the review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 82% based on 237 reviews with an average rating of 6.80 out of 10. The site's critical consensus reads, Sausage Party is definitely offensive, but backs up its enthusiastic profanity with an impressively high laugh to gag ratio and a surprisingly thought-provoking storyline. On Metacritic, the film has a score of 66 out of 100 based on 39 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. Audiences polled by Cinema Score gave the film an average grade of B on an A plus to F scale. Vince Mancini of Uprocks wrote that, in quote, Sausage Party's most charming quality is that it feels exactly like a group of 13-year-olds trying to entertain themselves with excessive C bombs and constant groan worthy food puns. Richard Roper gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, saying, in quote, despite all the cursing and envelope pushing and bat bleep crazy sexual stuff, Sausage Party isn't mean spirited. It's just stupid, but also pretty smart and funny as hell. Lindsay Barr of Associated Press gave the film a positive review, writing, in quote, there is no one out there making comedies quite like Rogan and Goldberg. They are putting their definitive stamp on the modern American comedy, one decency, smashing double and, and tender at a time. Yeah. So yeah, there you have it though, man. And it got some nominations from the Annie Awards, Kevin um Pavlovic for outstanding achievement editorial in an animated feature production. And Sausage Party got a nomination for Best Animated Feature Film for the Central Ohio Film Critics Association. And the great beyond Alan Menken, Glenn Slater, Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, Ariel Schaefer, and Kyle Hunter all got nominations for Best Original Song and Animated Film for the Hollywood Music and Media Awards. Soldier's Party also got a nomination for Best Animated Feature Film for the Houston Film Critics Society, and it was the runner-up. Soldier's Party is also the runner-up, along with Nick Kroll in second place for the Indiana Film Journalists Association for Best Vocals and Motion Capture Performance. Seth Rogen got a nomination for Best Comedic Performance for 2017 MTV Movie and TV Awards. Soldier's Party was in fifth place for the Village Voice film poll of Best Animated Feature. And of course, Conrad Vernon and Greg Tiernan got a nomination for the Washington, D.C. Area Film Critics Association for Best Animated Feature. So there you go right there. There you go right there, man. And I'm not going to go over the controversy and all that other stuff. I'm not going to do that because that's not going to happen. I'm not going to do, because I don't do politics on this podcast show right here, man. All right. So, let's see. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. Okay. All right, let's get into we're gonna get into a little thing that I like to call TV show checkouts. 1 second. Give me 1 second here. All right, TV show checkouts it is, man. Let's get into it right here. All right. Now, I did not know that there was going to be a TV show based on Sausage Party. So I wanted to actually check this out. All right. Hang on a second. Before I go into Sausage Party, the TV series, I want to go over the cartoon Garfield and Friends. Obviously, everybody remembers that cartoon, which is an American animated television series based on the comic strip Garfield by Jim Davis. The show aired on CBS as part of its Saturday morning children's lineup from September 17th, 1988 to December 10th, 1994. Wow. And Lorenzo Music is the voice of Garfield. Greg Berger, Tom Hughes, Desiree Goyette, Howard Morris, Frank Welker, and Julie Payne. Okay, it did 7 seasons. Okay, that's pretty good. The show features animated storylines adapted from the comic strip Garfield and Davis's other comic strip, U.S. Acres. Mark Evanier was the show's head writer. Lorenzo Music provided the voice of Garfield the cat, the strip's title character, as he had done since Here Comes Garfield in 1982. Other voices present on the show include Tom Hughes as John Arbuckle, Garfield's human owner, and Greg Berger as Odie, the dog. Also returning from prior Garfield animated media. Burger and Huge also respectively voiced Orson Pig and Roy Rooster in the U.S. Acres segment. 121 episodes were made, each consisting of 2 Garfield segments and 1 U.S. Acres segment and a Garfield quickie at the end. All episodes have been released in the U.S. on 5 DVD sets by 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment. All right. Let me see. Jeez. So, yeah, that's pretty much what that is actually. So, yeah, so it was okay, let's go to the segments, man. I didn't even know about the segments. So, all right, so Garfield, the segments adapted from Garfield featured the same primary characters as the comic strip. The title character, voiced by Lorenzo Music, is a greedy and laid back orange tabby cat. His owner is a human named John Arbuckle, of course, whose storylines include his failed attempts to date women and his frustrations of dealing with Garfield's mischiefs. John is also the owner of Odie, a yellow dog who is often the subject of Garfield's pranks. Other human characters in the Garfield and Friends segment include Dr. Liz Wilson, voiced by Julie Payne, and who is Garfield's veterinarian, Herman Post, voiced by Greg Berger, a postal worker, and Blinky the clown, voiced by Tom Hughes, the star of his own television show within the series. Non-human characters include Nermal, voiced by Des Goyette, a young kitten who often visits Garfield to antagonize him. The Buddy Bears, voiced by Howard Morris, Greg Berger, and Tom Hughes. 3 bears who are also the star of their own television show. Penelope Pussycat, voiced by Victoria Jackson, Garfield's love interest, who lives in an Italian restaurant, and Floyd, voiced by Greg Berger, a mouse Garfield interacts with regularly. I didn't know that. Did not know that. U.S. Acres, the second comic strip adapted for the series. U.S. Acres is set on a farm with various animals. The lead character is Orson, voiced by Greg Berger, and an imaginative pig who enjoys reading books. Accompanying him in these segments are Roy, a loud-mouthed rooster who enjoys pranking the others. Wade, voiced by Howard Morris, a cowardly duck. Bo, voiced by Frank Welker, and Lanolin, voiced by Julie Payne, a pair of sheep who are brother and sister, and Booker and Sheldon, voiced by Frank Welker. A pair of juvenile chickens, Orson's brothers, Mort, Gort, and Wart. Oh man, regularly serve as antagonists within the U.S. Acres segment. These segments would go by alternate titles internationally. In most of the world, these segments would be known as Orson's Farm. However, in Canada, the segments will be known as Orson's Place. Wow. Yeah. So the shit got canceled by budget cuts. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Although the series was a success in the ratings at the time, it had become expensive to make, and the Saturday morning cartoon format was in decline by the mid 1990s. Additionally, CBS as a whole was a distant third behind NBC and ABC for much of the series run, and was in the middle of its cost cutting by Lawrence Tish that resulted in CBS losing broadcasting rights to the National Football League for years. For 4 years, starting in 1994, and subsequently losing many longtime affiliates to Fox, which had outbid CBS for its NFL package. As a result, CBS proposed renewing the show for another season, I'll bet with significant budget cuts. Since the show did well in syndication, producers ended the series in 1994 with its seventh season. All right, now we go to the legacy and reception. The reception and legacy. Okay. At the time of the series release, critical reviews on it were generally negative. Charles Solomon of the Los Angeles Times wrote in 1988, Garfield has lost all his feline qualities and become a crabby little man in a cat suit. With more than 3,500 Garfield products on the market, does anyone really need to see more of the character? Gene Seymour of the Pittsburgh Press rated the show D-, saying that the show tries too hard to be hip and the jokes are flat. However, retrospective reviews of the series have been much more favorable. The quality of Garfield and Friends, when compared with other animated television series from the 1980s, is considered by animation historian Jerry Beck to foreshadow the higher quality animation boom coming in the next decade. Hal Erickson says that Garfield and Friends rapidly became the hub around which the rest of CBS morning lineup was built, and it seemed to get better with each passing season. Wow. 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 That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. That was one of my favorite cartoons growing up, actually. All right. So now another TV series I didn't know about, which is Sausage Party Foodtopia. And for those of you who may not know what Sausage Party Foodtopia is, it's basically an adult animated television series that serves as a sequel to the film Sausage Party in 2016, created by Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, Kyle Hunter, and Ariel Schaefer, and developed by Kyle Hunter and Ariel Schaefer for Amazon Prime Video. It features the returning voices of Rogen, Kristen Wiig, Michael Cera, David Krumholtz, Edward Norton, and Scott Diggs Underwood, with Will Forte, Natasha Rothwell, Sam Richardson, and Yasser Sir Lester voicing new characters. Oh wow. Okay. So it only did like 8 episodes. Sheesh. The first season premiered on Amazon Prime Video on July 11, 2024, with a second season currently in development. The series received generally mixed reviews from critics who praised its voice acting, animation, score, and humor, while others were divided about its controversial political themes and criticized its writing and characters. A second season, announced by Rogen and Goldberg, is currently in development. So there's no release date. There's no release date for the second season. So there's no release date for the second season. All right, cool. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. Yes, sir. Lester plays Ice-T. Wow. a glass bottle of iced tea, who is one of the recruits of a task force established by Barry in order to stop foods from stealing tea from other foods. He also became Barry's partner during the task force establishment. Oh wow. Yeah, it seems pretty wow. Wow. Um yeah, that's interesting right there, man. Um hmm. Yeah, Will Forte as Jack, a surviving human whom Frank and Brenda kept alive in order to learn about humanity, along with things such as weather, ravenous animals, and politics. Due to becoming an ally of food, he resorts to cannibalism to avoid eating them. Jeez. Um, Sam Richardson as Julius, a ter- Terrenio tyrannical orange who uses his charms and wealth of human teeth to gain followers in order to take over Foodtopia. The character is a parody of President 47, with his name being a play on Orange Julius and Julius Caesar. Stephanie Beard as Jerry Rice, a tiny grain of rice who is the sole survivor of her family drowning from the flood and has a personal hatred towards Julius, who selfishly left her for dead. Her name is a pun of former NFL wide receiver Jerry Rice. Whew, wow. Scott Diggs Underwood as Gum, a Stephen Hawking esque, intelligent but paraplegic wad who of chewed gum who wears glasses and has a excuse me, um, mechanized wheelchair. He dies after sacrificing himself for the other food during the flood. Wow. All right. So, oh shit. Um, David Krumholtz and Alejandro Saab as Kareem Abdul Lavish, a Middle Eastern lavish who had a relationship with Sammy. He is killed off during the uprising, leaving Sammy devastated. Natasha Rothwell as Rutaburger. No, excuse me, Rutabaga. Gins, Rutabaga Ginsburg. A Rutabaga who serves as the judge of Foodtopia. Oh shit. Andre Sogliazzo as Christopher Chris Bologna, a Bologna who serves as one of the recruits of Barry's task force and later one of Julius's two enforcers. Jill Tolley as Kishka Hargitay, a Kishka who serves as one of the recruits of Barry's task force and later one of Julius's two enforcers. Gray D. Lisso as Red Lentils, a box of red lentils who had a human tooth stolen by Pops. James Adomian as Pops, an orange flavored popsicle who stole a tooth from red lentils. Wow. Wow. And I already mentioned who Seth Rogen, Kristen Wiig, Michael Cera, um, Edward Norton play. I actually mentioned that while doing the review for I gotta say, man, I gotta say, Socialist Party is so fucking hilarious right there, man. From the way I was looking at it, it was like, listen, if South Park bigger, longer, and uncut could actually be rated R, as an animated cartoon movie, then so can Sausage Party. And it actually pulled it off. It actually pulled it off, actually. Yeah, so let's go to okay, so on the oh boy, I'm not even gonna listen on the on review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, the series holds a 46% approval rating based on 24 reviews with an average rating of 5.7 out of 10. The website's critics consensus reads, clean up on aisle 3. Foodtopia has plenty of rancid gags to tide over fans of Seth Rogen's sense of humor, but this follow-up can't help but feel like stale leftovers. On Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, the series assigned a score of 54 out of 100 based on 16 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. All right. Let's see. Let's see. All right. I want to go over some games that actually came out this month. Damn it. There's some games I want to go over that's coming out in the month of May actually. So let's go over it right here. Let me see. All right, 1 second. Oh yeah, it's right there. No. All right, so here are some games that came out in the month of May, and I'm gonna go over the games that's coming out um in June in the next episode. So here you go, right here, the video games chamber. Let's do this. All right. Whew. This is one of the segments where I go over some games that's coming out, upcoming and previous games that came out already. So here it is. Let me find it. All right, let's go over some games that came out in the beginning and of course what's going on throughout the whole month. All right, let's start off with this. Hang on 1 second. All right, starting with Shotgun Cop Man, May 1st for PC. What the Clash also came out on the first, which is an Apple Arcade. Vellum came out already for PC. Among Us 3D, May 6th. Siege Caster came out for PC. Unblocked for PC also came out on the 7th. Deck of Haunts came out on the 7th. Survival Machine also come out on the same day. Bahamut and the Wak Tree came out today on PC along with Revenge of the Savage Planet. for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Sonic Rumble, I think. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I did hit. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did I hear that this game got delayed? Wait a minute here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a second. Free to play mode. So there is a dilemma. There is a dilemma. So and so according to GameSpot.com, so here's what's happening here. Once again, Sega has delayed the launch of the next Sonic the Hedgehog game, Sonic Robo. A free-to-play mobile title is no longer having its global debut on May 8th. It's now delayed indefinitely. End quote. We know this news may be disappointing and it wasn't a decision we made lightly. We at Sega share that disappointment, especially because we're making this call so close to the launch timing we had originally hoped for. However, we believe taking the extra time is the right choice for the future of Sonic Rumble. Sonic Rumble, the publisher said in a blog post. Wow. I'm pretty sure a lot of Sonic fans are very disappointed with all this bullshit. All right. Let's continue. There's more to the story than this, actually. It's funny that I actually saw this on Threads. Actually, that somebody posted regards to the delay of Sonic Rumble. So I actually saw this delay on Threads. Um, excuse me. Um, this is not a surprise though, man. This is not really a surprise compared to the delay of Grand Theft Auto 6, which I will talk about on my other podcast and here too. So, yeah. Yeah, so Sega also warned that while some mobile store pages might show a specific launch date for Sonic Rumble, this is only a placeholder date. Sonic Rumble has been available for months now as part of a pre-launch testing period, and Sega said it's thankful to fans for their feedback so far. Anyone currently playing Sonic Rumble in its pre-release launch can look forward to the next update, 1.2, which adds a new Rumble ranking feature and the ability to group together with friends in crews. Finally, the 1.2 update adds unique abilities in the form of skills. More details about the new features and the 1.2 update will be announced in the upcoming days, Sega said. These upcoming changes will fundamentally reshape the game, and one thing has become clear: we want to create a game that evolves and stays fun for months and years to come. To build the kind of high quality, long lasting Sonic game our players deserve, we need more time, Sega said. And this is understandable. Sonic Rumble was originally set to have its global public launch in 2024, but that didn't happen as Sega delayed the game to spring 2025, which is not happening. Whenever it's ready, Sonic Rumble will release on iOS and Android as well as for PC via Steam. As for the console series, the latest release was 2024's Sonic X Sonic X Shadows Generations. The next big release is Sonic Racing Crossworlds, which launches later this year for console and PC. I will go over this game on this podcast in the future episodes, so don't worry about that. Outside of games, the movie Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is set for release in theaters in March 2027. I think March 19th is the date. The movie series has been a big hit, banking more than $1 billion across its first 3 entries so far. I will go over those 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies in a future episode. So there you go. There you go, right there. There's more releases, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on. Wait a second. There's more. I could have sworn there were dates. Let me see. All right, the dates. Let's go back to the upcoming release game schedule here. This is for May. All right, so back to where I left off. The Midnight Walk came out on the 8th of today, which is for PS5 and PC. Van Brace Dungeon Monarch for PC, and yes, Your Grace Snowfall. So May 12th, Legacy of Sin 3 Botting for PC. Labyrinth of the Demon King comes out May 13th for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Omega Crafter for PC, May 14th. Also coming on the 14th is Void Sales for PC. May 15th, Doom, the Dark Ages for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Also on the 15th, Nubs Arena for PC, Tennis Manager 25 for PC. May 16th, Capcom Fighting Collection 2 for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Of Life and Land for PC, May 16th as well. May 19th, Frog Legs for PC, Roadcraft for May 20th, PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Monster Train 2 for PS5, Xbox Series, and Switch. PC comes out May 21st. May 22nd, Deliver at All Costs for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. And the Duck Detective, The Secret Salami for PC. Grandma No also comes out on the same day for PC. Linked Banner of the Spark comes out on the same day for PS5, Xbox Series, PC. Out of Sight for PS5, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown also comes out on PC. Worshippers of Sitohu for PC. May 28th, To a T for Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC. May 30th, Disney Illusion Island. I can't believe PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Elden Ring Night Rain for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC. Also coming out on the 30th is Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma for Nintendo Switch and PC. All right, I'll go over the games that's going to come out in June in the next episode. So I'm probably going to wrap up right here, man. Because Yeah, I'm probably gonna wrap up right here. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap up. All right, we're gonna wrap up right here, right now. I'm gonna let me see if I can find that last segment. If I can find that last segment, actually. Hold on 1 second. All right, here it is. Stream choices on the go, man. Let's get into it right here, right now. Okay. Make sure you follow Meticulous Juice Podcast on Facebook, Threads, Bluesky, Social, alongside with Instagram and my other podcast shows that's also on Facebook, Blue Sky Social, Threads, and Instagram are Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, the Sports Edition show, and of course my comedy, which is returning on the week of the 14th of next week. Off the Meat Rat Chainz New York Avenue podcast is going to be on its return. So be sure to follow that. And of course, you can follow your homie, your host with the most G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. If you go to the link in bio, you're going to see a whole list of streaming platforms. You're going to see a link in the bio where it says Linktree / Meticulous Juice Podcast. All right. I'm gonna go over it with you folks right here, if just in case. All right, so we have Audible, Odyssey, Amazon Music, Breaker, Bullhorn FM, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM Podcast, Overhaul FM Podcast, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Pod Friend, Podham, Podo Polo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Podcast Guru, Podvine, Snipped, Spotify for creators. You can also comment on Spotify for creators. Tell me what you think about this episode and the topics that was discussed and reviewed. And of course, for those of you out there who have Spotify, of course, be sure to also listen to the episodes on Spotify as well. Trying to grow more listeners out here, man. You know what I'm saying? And tell your friends about the podcast, share it, and all that great stuff. All right. We got TuneIn Radio, Fountain, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, the #1 app where you can listen to your favorite music artists, as far as singers, rappers, R&B artists, radio stations, and of course, podcast episodes for free. You don't need a credit card or debit card to download iHeartRadio. All you need to do is go ahead and subscribe and follow the podcast on iHeartRadio and along with streaming platforms that I just mentioned. And also, do the same with YouTube. Make sure you follow by subscribing to the channel Meticulous Juice Podcast, which is the entertainment platform where I talk about some what's happening with music artists' album projects, news, movies, TV shows, even gaming news as well. Yes, leave me a like, leave a like, share the videos, tell me what you think about the episodes and topics, along with adding the podcast to your playlist, and be sure to also enable alerts so you don't miss out on the upcoming live streams of the podcast episodes, and of course new episodes will be dropping on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. All right. I will be back to my podcasting groove. It's going to take me some time, so bear with me. All right. And of course you can share the Linktree link of Meticulous Vibes podcast. That's on every streaming platform with your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, people you are cool with from work. You could listen to new episodes on every streaming platform whenever you get to listen, stream, and watch your podcast. All right. All right, folks. That's gonna do it. That's gonna do it for me, man. I'm your man and homie G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Thank you very much for being patient with me while I was on my hiatus, and thank you for listening. Thank you for streaming and watching. I appreciate all the love and support. Now you can support me by subscribing to the channel, spread the word to your friends, and of course share the videos, share with everybody that you can think of. All right. Remember, the grind doesn't stop. Hard work pays off. If you want something, you have to work hard and earn it. It's not going to be given to you on a fucking silver platter. And of course, be on your P's and Q's. If you plan on starting a podcast, please feel free to make sure you have some topics to talk about, some equipment that you want to that you're going to need, such as headphones. You have a laptop. You have lighting purposes for your live stream, microphone. You just name it. And please don't let anybody discourage you for not being consistent on your podcast. Of course, life unexpectancies happens to people, whether it's traumatic experiences with mental health, whatever it may be, man. And yeah, you're not alone in all this though, man. And don't worry about the numbers of the subscribers and all the other stuff, man. And yeah, and you have to ask yourself this question, man. Are you doing this for a moment? Are you doing this for a moment and money, or are you doing this for yourself, along with the consistency and alongside with the determination and confidence? That's the question you should be asking yourself. All right. Remember, if you are an upcoming YouTuber, if you have a YouTube channel, content creator, and if you are a host of your own podcast, and if you are covering, the various categories like video games, comedy, entertainment, music, TV, film, mental health, as far as healing, self-care, all that great stuff right there, man. Please feel free to check out let me see. Let me just grab that website one more time so I don't forget. Let me grab that website for you folks out there that actually needs this. All right, don't forget to check out StreamYard's website. If you are an upcoming and you want to level up on your content, whatever it may be, man. And like I said before, you can get you can get a $10 discount by checking out StreamYard, and of course by setting up your profile of your podcast. You can use your username, you can use your email, you can use your email addresses and all that stuff right there. All you need to do is set up a profile, your email addresses, and of course on top of that, you can set up your schedule on when you're doing your podcast live stream recordings. And of course, you can set up your schedule, you can add people, all that great stuff right there, man. What are you waiting for, folks? All you gotta do is tell your friends about StreamYard, man, by going to www.streamyard.com. That way you can get your $10 discount by leveling your content and leveling up your content and all that great stuff. And don't miss out on all the action, man. Check out StreamYard, www.streamyard.com. All right, I'm about to be out of here, man. Tune in next time on Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, where I go over some a former TV show regarding She-Hulk, and of course some other stuff in between. So I'm about to be out of here. Be careful out there. Make sure you get your mom's a Mother's Day present, and of course, you don't have to go too hard on the expensive gifts. Just keep it simple. That's all you need to do. Just keep it simple. You know what I mean? It's not about the material. It's the thought that counts. Right here. All right. I'm out of here. Peace and one love. I love y'all very much, man. And thank y'all for being patient with me, man, and listening and watching. You could have listened to any podcast in the whole world, but you chose to listen to this podcast right here. All right. Peace and one love. Hope you enjoy your weekend, and as far as your Mother's Day weekend and everything else in between. All right. Be safe. Peace. Good night, everybody.